Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Minnesota State Park Hiking Club Trail Series. Today we traveled to Birchdale, Minnesota to take the hiking club trail at Franz Jevne State Park. Franz Jevne State Park was established in 1967 as the end result of something set in motion earlier in the 1960s, when a National Park Service survey recommended that land along the Rainy River in the area be set aside as a park. Some of that land was owned by the family of Franz Jevne, according to the DNR website. His sons offered to donate the 118-acre tract of land to be used as a state park under the condition that it was named after their father, Franz Jevne. Situated on the northern border right along the Rainy River, the state park is heavily wooded and offers fantastic views of the river and into Canada. It is, however, the smallest state park in the state, with only 118 acres. Its proximity to Zippel Bay, only about an hour's drive, make it a decent park to visit in tandem with Zippel Bay because of the proximity and the required stop in Baudette to see Willie the Walleye because of the vast difference in environment. The deep woods environment along the Rainy River versus the coastal woodland and sandy beaches of Zippel Bay. The wildlife can be seen at the park is not unlike a lot of other northern parks, with beavers, wolves, and moose highlighting a diverse cast of animals that reside or travel through the park. The park is also an excellent place to fish with the usual northern fare of walleye, smallmouth bass, sturgeon, and northern pike. While you're out by the river, don't forget to keep your eyes peeled for a bald eagle, potentially perching on the trees nearby. The Rainy River forms the northern border of the park. There is some cliffs more central to the park, while down by the river the land gets low and can flood during the wet season or if there's any period of increased rainfall. The park is almost entirely covered in trees and only a few sandy or wet outcroppings into the river that don't have complete canopy coverage. As you might expect, it can get quite buggy, but the moist forest environment also means there can be a diverse plethora of mushrooms as well. The hiking club trail starts in the middle of the campground area. First thing to mention is to get to the area the trail starts, you have to go over quite a steep and narrow turn with your vehicle, so if it's been wet or icy or your car doesn't have great traction, it's probably not a good time to take this hike. Or, if you're extremely determined, you can park before the turn and walk the additional distance to the beginning of the trail. The trail itself is 1.3 miles of the hiking club total and took us less than an hour to complete, even while pausing periodically to enjoy the views of Rainy River. Initially, the trail descends towards the river, where in short order you can see a marker indicating that this is the U.S. side of the river. This is due to the fact that the Rainy River, in addition to be the northern border of the park, is also the northern border of the United States. Shortly from there, the trail turns and you come into a clearing with a picnic table. This area offers a decent view out onto the water of Rainy River and all the way across to Canada. If you look, you'll see a set of rapids out in the river. This is the Long Sault Rapids. There's also a small island on this side of the river which is thickly wooded, and I can imagine a popular spot for deer to hang out. We managed to spot a heron in the rapids hunting for fish on the far side of the river, but then decided to move onward. A short way from the clearing, the trail is still within that lower area that's quite moist, and this created a nice vibrant green from all the moss clinging to the nearby down trees. After this section, the trail gets a little elevation, and although the relative distance from the river doesn't change that significantly, the elevation and the tree growth in between limits the additional views of the river from the trail. In one of the thinner forested areas, there's still an overgrown trail that gets closer to the river, but not by much. The final section of the trail is heavily forested, but eventually gives way to an area that brings you out to a decent, if not completely open, overlook of the river. Despite being higher in elevation than the previous section, it's set back and there are numerous trees that kind of limit the visibility. My favorite part of the park is the clearing that you get to see the Long Sault Rapids. It's a nice overlook of the rapids with a decent seating. It's also one of the best views of the river in the park and allowed a nice breeze to travel over the trail. There wasn't the cool, neat mushrooms you see in the other parts of the park, But the clear sight of the border and the fact that you can see Canada from the picnic table is pretty cool. Thank you for watching, and if you like this edition of the series, let us know. Also, let us know which one you'd like to see next.